out.
Yeah. We have a couple of things. Number one, we're going to start the call off very exciting. We're going to announce who was raffled off to win 500 bonus coins for the fun fact activity that happened last week. I know it didn't go out Friday. I do apologize. So then I've decided to keep it until this call to do it live. So somebody's going to be receiving 500 bonus coins for emailing through their fun fact about themselves, which is cool. And then number two, we're going to dive into just a real short, sharp, speedy trivia night to get the blood pumping and see where everyone's at. Just who doesn't like a little bit of trivia? Jump straight into the chat panel and let me know if that sounds up your alley. And then once that's looked after, team, we will dive into week 3 of our Feel Fresh Action training and group get together, which is all about language and alcohol, the art of mastering your language to actually directly increase your chances of choosing what you do on a day-to-day basis. Please jump into the chat panel. Let us know how that sounds to you. I'm just going to make sure everyone has been welcomed in. Okay, it looks like there's a good turnout tonight. Fantastic. All right, drum roll, please. That's just me drum rolling for us, by the way, team. 500 bonus coins to Haley Pepper. I believe it's
Haley Pepper.
Haley Pepper, you drawed out one of the amazing people that sent through your fun facts about yourself last week. So if you're watching this live or if you are watching the recording, please note, I'm not just going to deposit those into your account. Send me an email. Let me know that you're aware that you're receiving the 500 bonus coins, and I'll deposit them into your account straight away. Because as you know, at Drink Less Feel Fresh, we're all about engagement, and we want to know that you've been rocking out with us and doing what's required. Number 2, little bit of housekeeping, so to speak. Team, we're coming into the second last. I call it the third. I don't know why I wanted to call it the second last as opposed to the third. The third week of the Sober October game. And in saying that, the admin team and staff will be looking over your action logs. So please take a moment, wink, wink, nudge, nudge to a couple of you to really look at the description. We don't give people a hard time here at Drink Less Feel Fresh. It's always met with a smile. But take a look at your action logging team and take a look at the descriptions of the actions. For anybody
some people are being cheeky.
There's some cheeky little muffins, so to speak. So please take a look at your action sheet and just be really careful with the actions that you're logging. Haley's just
is that Haley Pepper?
That actually is Haley Pepper, I think. Let's just all start laughing when Haley arrives to make it really awkward and uncomfortable.
Sorry, Haley.
So in all seriousness, team, anyone, as it was sent out, we sent out the rules sheet early on in the Sober October game. It's normally nothing that we need to worry about too much, but please just take a look at the actions that you're logging. There are some actions in there that you're only supposed to be doing once a week. We don't really police that every day because we'd rather just let everyone enjoy the game, play to the best that they can. But for those of you that claim prizes, and there's prizes already going now, you will be audited. So if you've claimed any actions more than you should have, then to save us all the trouble, just unfortunately that prize will go to the next person. So just be aware, just be careful. And if you think, oh no, I did log the action of the bottle load challenge, I did 4 of them in the first week. Well, guess what? Do 4 of them again, but don't log the action. Get out there and do the actions that you're supposed to do, even if it means that you can't log them again because you've already done them. We'd just love to see a resounding, is that it? Resounding thumbs up, smiley face, A-OK. Jump into the chat panel. Let me know if that's all clear. Just welcoming a couple of people into the group as I hear from you all. Chat panel's gone quiet. Is everyone hating me? Is everyone saying, oh, Tom, stop getting serious about the game? All right. Thank you, team. Haley, please jump into the chat panel if you are live with us. Would love to know. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate the comments, team. Loving them. All right. Haley, congratulations. You just missed out. Well, you didn't miss out. Or maybe we should make you miss out. I don't know. Congratulations, Haley. You received 500 bonus coins because you were drawn out of the raffle for the individuals that sent through fun fact about themselves last week. So I'm really glad you showed up on the call tonight because I'll make sure you receive those bonus coins tomorrow.
And don't worry, we won't share the fun fact.
Though if you would like to share the fun fact, Haley, please share. All right, team, moving along a little bit quicker now. You're very welcome. Number 1, jump straight in the chat panel. What is stress debt?
So trivia question 1. What
Trivia.
is stress debt?
Trivia question 1. What is stress debt? Who has been eagerly listening and paying attention? What is stress debt? No right or wrong. Jump into the chat panel. Rock out with us. Love that. Thanks, Jaden. Appreciate it, mate. Oh, I love that. The first definition of stress debt. This was it, Nat. This should be our definition. You're just banking it for the next time.
Yeah, it's so good. So good.
Love that. Really good description. I didn't see the name that came through with that. Drinking builds up stress and we don't get to learn to handle it. Well said. Drinking to alleviate stress creates a debt. It doesn't go away, just puts it in the bank for later. Oh, I love these definitions. Thanks, Sarah. Thanks, Simone.
Okay. Great start.
When you have, it's like someone's listening to us, Nat.
I know, it's weird.
I thought everyone just tuned into the Zoom, then put it on mute and watched their TV show. Love it. Stress doesn't go away. It just builds up over time. Fantastic. Oh, love it. Everyone's understanding it. Love the answers team coming through. All right, question number 2. This is a juicy one, Nat, and I love it. For those of you that want to potentially learn to not just live a sober life, but to live with choice and freedom, how many drinks is generally the standard for you to stop at to make sure and maintain that you have choice? How many drinks is generally the recommendation to stop at in order to teach yourself the art of sticking to commitments?
Don't read that too quick because there's so many people waiting.
Yeah, I bit my tongue because someone commented through with Nat's specific description. So someone was listening very well.
Perfect.
All right, the clock has struck. The most accurate answer here from Julie Mundy, I believe, is 2 hard and fast.
yeah, good, Julie.
2 is the answer. Don't let anyone know that the head of behavioural training, Nat Hodges, said have them hard and fast. That's just between us.
Look, the science of alcohol.
Love it. A lot of people saying 2, a couple of people saying 3. Fantastic. 2 is it, team, if you're training yourself on living with choice and freedom when it comes to reducing your consumption as opposed to just living sober. Once you know how to live and practice detoxing, if you do want to get back into it, just learn either 30, 60, 90 days, never have more than 2 drinks. And if you can do that, you are definitely on the journey of mastering the art of moderation in drinking. And again, if you're struggling with that, just go back to step 1 and experience a detox. Oh, Virginia just commented through more than 2, go back and detox. Love it. Thanks, Virginia.
Yeah, but
Number 3, here's a little fun one, team. What sport were Nat and I playing when we first met each other? Met each other, fell in love, whatever you want to call it. What sport were Nat and I playing when we first? Mud wrestling, close. Basketball, squash.
I mean, I think someone just had a Freudian slip of a fantasy. You and I mud wrestling.
Yeah, you let that one slip. You let your thoughts become typed. I love it. Golf. Golf is the correct answer for all of you.
Golf is the correct answer.
Golf started the bromance. That is exactly right. Here's a fun fact that Nat actually let me know about last week, which I thought was hilarious. Taking the piss out of ourselves, team, as we do here at Drink Less, Feel Fresh. Don't take yourselves too seriously. There was a famous cricketer by the name of David Boone who was known for drinking quite a large amount of beer cans on the way from Sydney to London for an international test match. How many cans did David Boone consume on his flight?
It's somewhere between 1 and 100.
Jim's all over it, just straight in 52. Sarah's on 52. That's fantastic. I had no idea. 52 was the correct answer. I know I'm jumping in there nice and quick. Fantastic. I'm loving these comments coming through, team. I want to make the comments public next time, I think. And here's the one to finish up our trivia night to begin the class tonight, team. What is the purpose? What is the actual purpose of the solo and sober action? What is the purpose of the solo and sober action in the Sober October game? Would love to hear from you all. I would love to hear from all of you. Jim, Amanda, Julie, Jaden, Ree, Julie, Simone, Dan. Loving these comments coming through. Beautiful. Loving all the comments coming through. So team, the solo and sober date one, whether you like it or not, as a lot of the comments are coming through, and I love your answers, is there's a couple of ways you can look at this. If you don't enjoy your own company, don't expect anyone else to enjoy yours. And at the end of the day, your relationships with others are simply a direct reflection of the relationship you have with yourself when you are alone. I'll say that again.
Nice.
Your relationship with others are a direct reflection of the relationship you have with yourself when you are alone. How people communicate to you are generally how you speak to yourself in your head when you're not with anyone, when you're not socializing. How people treat you are generally how you treat yourself when you're not looking for validation or external significance. So we've all got to get much better at learning to enjoy our own company.
Absolutely.
You're welcome, Anita.
All right, Tommy, shall we?
Yes, but before we do that, Nat, can we let some of the DLFF members know some exciting news?
Oh, yes. Yes, we can.
Nat, no, I've made the decision. It requires a little bit more time, but I think it's going to be worth it. We will be hosting Feel Fresh Sober Trivia Nights once a month for all DLFF members to show up in a Zoom space. You'll have the ability to actually answer questions, receive points, and potentially take home prizes. So we'll be running the Feel Fresh Sober Trivia Nights for those of you that would like to get together and actually socialize together one evening without alcohol and actually enjoy, really enjoy that. So please let us know if that'll be right up your alley. All of the Drink Less Feel Fresh members, I know there's a few of them on the call right now, we'll have a chance at that. Thanks, team. Lots of comments.
Yeah.
In saying that, we've got about 10 to 15 minutes. Nat, let's dive into one of my favorite models, which is the art of language.
All right, team. So let's go. A bit of a context for this evening is that the language creates the ground for your internal world. And what that means is that all your internal workings, your internal being, what it feels like to be you, what's going on inside, language actually creates the field of whether you feel small and tight or large and expanded and making room for everything. So we can't understand we can only understand our internal world to the level in which we can language it clearly. That means language is how we order ourselves. So you see people when they talk, it's so good just to, if someone's a bit stuck, just to get them talking, because language puts them back together. And if you can't control your language and in a dialogue, if you can't manage that, then who's running the show? You know, if that's just all happening and you're kind of a victim to it, you know, then more things are going on. So that's a bit of the context for tonight. But we have one core thing to show you, which is how your language has a massive, massive influence on you, your decisions, the way you see the world and everything around it. So it kind of looks like this. We're going to step through a bit of a structure. But the first thing that happens is that inside your thinking mind, you think in questions. Your mind, if you observe it, is a constant set of questions. You're asking yourself questions. Wake up in the morning, how do I feel today? Well, I feel a bit tired. I feel energized. Where's the coffee? And you go to the toilet. You know, and you just start this kind of thought stream, all based on questions. So that's the very first layer we want to look at, is the language floating around in your mind is based on a question. So I'd like everyone to jump in the chat box first of all. If you just observe yourself, what questions are you constantly asking yourself? What questions seem to just bounce around all the time?
I'm going to read a few of these out.
Yeah.
What intention am I going to set today? Is this true? Am I doing the best I can? What do I need to get done today? Isn't that a big one?
Yep.
Am I being kind? Should I get up and exercise or just go to work?
Yeah, nice.
Am I good enough? How am I going to do this?
Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. All of those questions, what happens next? Questions determine where your attention goes. Attention being focused. So the content of your mind is a collection of the question and answer coupling. That literally creates the content of your mind. So when people go, I'm struggling, I've got a lot of intrusive thoughts, I've got a lot of internal stuff going on, a lot of that is due to uncontrolled or unconscious questions. How am I going to do this is a big one. how am I going to do this is a very, very heavy question, you know, because it just throws you into so much detailed thinking and irrelevant facts. And, you know, it's not a great question. Yes, Tommy.
Now, would you suggest that how much behavior, problematic behavior, thing that we don't like we're doing, problem out there with someone, with us, how much of that can be traced all the way back to what questions you're asking yourself?
Oh, mate, look, all of it. All of it. It starts with you. This is called the start of the chain of reactivity. And we want to be able to get a handle on the chain of reactivity. Otherwise, we just feel like victims to ourselves. So its first understanding is the coupling of a question and answer that is producing the content of your mind. Now, the content of your mind is what you feel. How crazy is that? The content of your mind is what you feel. And so when we're feeling things, your moment-to-moment feeling expression of you, just the general feeling expression of you, is a combination of your environment and your internal language through questions. Isn't that crazy? So people will feel different of the outside of the beach as a feeling to that, or inside in an office. Your environment plays a big factor in how you feel, but it also gets all mixed in there with your internal dialogue, specifically your language. This is where it gets a bit fun and full on, is that whatever you feel, I just need to move you guys, give me 2 seconds. I just need to move you out of the way. Okay, so whatever you feel, whatever is your felt expression of life, becomes what becomes your reality. You project that out onto the external world. Your feelings get projected out onto the external world. So if you're angry, if you're feeling tension in the body and angry, then that'll project out onto the world, and it'll look like everyone's angry. It'll look like everyone's pissed off at you. It'll look like you're always doing the wrong thing. But you trace it back to the original question. Why can't I get a handle? Let's say, for example, why can't I get a handle on this? And the focus goes, because you're not good enough, because you know you were let down, because you're not strong enough, because you don't know what you're doing. Then you're going to feel rubbish. And then you're going to paint your reality with those feelings. Tommy.
I think this might bring it into context for some, is anybody listening and really loving this and then kind of thinking, how does that apply to me right now? I think one of the ways we can apply it to ourselves all on a personal level, when Nat's talking about for here reality, Nat, let me know if this is fairly accurate, but one of the worst questions you can ever ask yourself is, why is this happening to me?
Yeah.
And the reason being is you're asking a question saying, why is level 4? Why is my reality happening to me? Which only leads to potentially one answer, which is a justification on why it's happening to you. And that's why, Sam, if you like the dynamics and the strategy of how you can go about this, that is one of the questions. I hope it's just okay to be black and white here, Nat. Like, just ditch that question ASAP. The quality of your life is a reflection of the quality of questions you ask yourself. And this call tonight is about becoming aware of, I'm just going to share how I like to say it, low quality, shitty questions, high quality questions. And you can look at life through that lens to get the ball rolling.
So we'll do we'll literally do an example right now. Just a thought experiment, and then we'll go into the chat box. But the thought experiment is this. What happens to everyone on the call when I ask you this question? What are you most worried about? You'll get an answer straight away. Something will happen. And you'll feel a total chain of reactivity down into the thought, the language, the worry. Tommy, we just went there.
It's just so good. Like, I just love the dynamics of the thinking brain. Same as anyone, Amanda's commenting through, you feel worried. Now, talk to us about that. It's the power, yet the vulnerability of the mind. The vulnerability the mind has for questions. Like, you've just literally asked 20 people something, and the chance that you influence 19, if not 20 of them into feeling something.
And you've got it there with the vulnerability of the mind is that our consciousness is always innocent. Consciousness is innocent. So when you feed it a question, it'll just answer it. Your deepest part of you is deeply innocent. So it gets influenced by everything you say and do. Everything. That's how sensitive we are to this stuff. So I can also say, exactly the same example. I can say, hey, what are you most excited for? Yeah, there we go. Exactly.
All these smiles come on people's faces. It's great.
Yep. Exactly. So, and that's a simple little experiment. You don't need me to do that. You can just guide yourself with good questions. So I'll ask this, and we'll go into the chat box. Now we'll do a real life example. Please share in the chat box your answer to the following question, which is, what in your life are you most proud of, either getting through or achieving?
Raising my children, childbirth, my family and friends.
Nice.
Achieving a stable life with great friends and family I adore.
Beautiful. Okay. So team, if you have an untrained mind, people think we have the ability to just go through life and kind of, it is what it is. Everyone's got to start at some point to make the decision to train their thinking mind, to give it the right input, the right questions, the right focus. Because essentially everyone has got to this point now with, you've been injected with other people's values and beliefs, and it's all necessary developmental stuff. But an even more important developmental stage is where we choose to take control of our own mind and we train it. And the reason why is because an untrained mind is by default negative. Every human being is negative. That's the state of play. Isn't that crazy? Every human being that has an untrained mind will be in a negative state of mind, because negativity equals survival. It's just a natural law of things. If you're more negative, you're more likely to keep yourself alive. That's it. Because you'll just be in your base emotions of desire, anger, greed. You'll just keep yourself alive through negative emotion. But we're built for way, way more than that. We're built for joy and peace and love and care and compassion and openness. We're actually designed for it. But in the grand scheme of things, you've got to do the work. So the work is, I have to start controlling the input of my mind. And I always use a set of 4 questions that I still use today. And I'm getting more obsessed about the basics now, 10 years in, than what I did before. Basics being, what am I grateful for? Where do I feel most guided? Where is my life naturally flowing? And what am I proud of in myself?
Nat, might be putting ourselves on the spot here, but you and I just collaborated last week to create those end of year, highly influential on the ability to let go questions. Do you think it'd be okay to potentially offer it to the viewers tonight, or?
For sure. Yep, we'll send it over.
Team, Nat and I created an end of year.
Was that the reflection? The DLFS
reflection and awareness questions to highly, really influence what you're thinking and how to let go. So it's only if you want to let go and experience more joy and love. And if you would like those, this is ad-libbed, by the way, so I don't have them ready for you now. Please send me an email at info@drinklessfeelfresh.com and just say, Tom would love the awareness questions. P.S. You're awesome. And we'll make sure you're looked after. You're welcome, Sam. Thanks, Amanda.
All right, team, to finish off. Sorry, Tommy, go for it.
Just as Nat gets into this, how we doing? Oh, we still got 120 seconds. We're killing it with the timing. Team, just to ground ourselves and bring us back to a conversation that matters so much. The difference between what you're learning here in traditional alcohol reduction systems. Traditional alcohol reduction systems don't take into consideration what you just learned today, which is we are highly influential human beings, and we are always on a sliding scale of being influenced into things and out of things. And I'll go to the extent to say that if even for someone who is clinically diagnosed with a hereditary condition predisposed to, excuse me, I'll get that. You're still a human being. You're still experiencing what Nat's experiencing. You might have the excuse to say, well, but I'm influenced more because I got this diagnosis, or I am influenced more because I grew up in this family dynamic. At the end of the day, we are always playing the game of influence. And if that isn't powerful to hear from learning what Nat just spoke about, which is asking yourself, incredible questions, I don't know what is. Team, just jump into the chat panel as Nat's taking us through the top key 2 or 3 key takeaways. Please jump into the chat panel. Is anyone actually really embracing or understanding the depth of the power of what you've just learned? I think it's incredible. And I'm 9 years in and it's just still, it blows my mind.
Yeah, how much learning and technology and understanding we have now. It's like, if you want to commit to this, you can just have an extraordinary life. It doesn't got nothing to do with your family or what you earn or where you work. It's got nothing to do with that. It can all be done internally. All of it. It's fascinating. Hey, Nita.
That's great.
Gotcha. Okay, finish off. Take home messages. The top one is a favorite of mine. Truthful speech goes uninjured. This is the calling to speak your truth as hard and as loud as you can, because just in doing that, you can't become injured by people's opinions. We can only get injured by people's opinions when we're not telling the truth. How annoying is that? If you speak your truth and you know it, then you won't ever fear someone's opinion. Truthful speech goes uninjured. Second one, to tame your mind, control your questions. Everyone has to make a choice, a developmental choice of when they're going to take full ownership of their internal world. And lastly, what you feel in your body, the feeling expression of you, that projects itself into reality. And that is a downstream effect of the questions you ask yourself. To summarize, just get really, really conscious and intentional about the questions you're feeding yourself. I used to do it out loud. I used to write on mirrors because I'm a neurotic, upwardly mobile achiever. I've always been like that. And so I need a lot of strategies to keep me balanced. So I used to write these questions everywhere.
Team, as you're listening to Nat there, jump into the comments panel to wrap up. What is your biggest personal key learning from tonight's call? What is your personal biggest key learning from tonight's call? Maybe something you really resonated with or something you just enjoyed or liked. As I'm watching those questions come through, thank you so much, team, for rocking out with us for week 3, which is all about the art of language to manage and experience more joy and love. Fantastic. Loving those comments coming through. Looking forward to rocking out with you next week. Week 4 is a big one, team. We are going to want to get everybody on next week's call. It's going to be fascinating. We're going to bring a bit of fun and play to it.
Quick question, Tommy. Was there coins for the trivia? There was.
There was coins for the trivia. There's bonus
for the
coins.
winner or for just answers right?
I'm just sending out bonus coins to people that are on the call tonight.
Great. Perfect. Well done.
Keep an eye on your games tomorrow, team. Just reading these comments coming through. Yeah, love it. Thanks, Nat. There's heaps of comments and thank yous coming through that you probably can't see right now. You're welcome, Julie. Thanks, Denise. Thanks, Virginia. Looking forward to rocking out with you for another week, team. Next Tuesday, same time, same place. Buckle up. Get ready for a big one to finish. Here's a drinking lesson, feeling fresh. Here's to living with choice and freedom.
See you guys.
Bye for now.